I'm Delphine Polignier. I work for a study center specialized in CSR based in France, and I'm a project director.
Maya Belkacem, I work in the Strategy and Sustainable Development Department at GDF Suez. I'm program manager in charge of various questions linked to NGOs and stakeholder dialogue. And we are here to talk on the laboratory called Proactive Stakeholder Engagement. Even if you are a global company, you act locally and you really need to work closely with your stakeholder to understand their needs, try to find innovative solutions to provide services and products and goods. And then we thought that working together with companies, NGOs, academic institutions would be excellent to share best practices, to see what are the gaps, what are the tools that we need to highlight at a European level or international level, and also to see why some stakeholders are not talking to each other, and see what should be organized to encourage dialogue with stakeholders when you launch an activity, an industrial activity or an activity locally.
We fostered the different stakeholders, as Malia said, and we decided to enlarge some work that had been done in the different networks in Europe, and create a toolkit addressed to companies as well as stakeholders, a toolkit that gives some information on instruments you can use to set up this dialogue, but also on the different stakeholders you can dialogue or have a relation with. We actually pose the key questions: how, why do we have this kind of dialogue with stakeholders? How? So that's how we show implementation, and with who, because it's sometimes difficult to identify the right stakeholders when you are an organization. And we gave some references as well, and some we tried to give some recommendations on each topic.
This laboratory was created in order to share best practices and show them to the world. I mean, it's there. It's public. The guide will be public, and it's written in with pedagogical language, and that means that everybody can understand what we are trying to explain, the tools and various methods to encourage dialogue with stakeholders, and also best practices for each stakeholder, key stakeholder. And we think that each company, when they will have the guide and when they will read the guide, will say, hey, I forgot this. Indeed, it's a good example from, I don't know, Total or GDF Suez. Maybe I have to do the same to encourage my suppliers, maybe to work on sustainability, or encourage my employees to be more proactive in activity, in the extra activity. For example, if they want to work on solidarity or something else, maybe I have to do that to have more incentive in my company. So we think that everybody can find something that will help them to enrich their sustainable development strategy.
Also, it's the way to look at the most innovative approaches in each subject. I mean, some of the companies in this group showed that they were leaders in some areas, but it doesn't mean they're leaders everywhere. So you have something to take, something to give. It was quite an exchange, and it's also good for the new entrants, the people who want to engage and that are curious and sometimes suspicious about the subject, to look at what's going on and to see that it's possible to do it, enter the process from A to Z.